Hi folks, Roger here again. What we're going to do on this video is to do a walkthrough and to show you how to set up a WordPress blog on your Teamwork Revolution website. So what we're going to do first is to assign the domain to the name server for the Teamwork Revolution website. So what we're going to do is to choose our domain. As you can see here, I've got quite a few domains, but we're going to pick one here that I've got just set aside for reserve. Now I do a lot of review sites, so what I'm going to do is to set up a review site and just use this for our demonstration. And I'm using GoDaddy.com is where I get most of my domains, but if you get your domains from somewhere else, it should look rather familiar. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and change the name servers to the Teamwork Revolution servers. This is important to do this first because Teamwork Revolution website, the host accounts won't accept a domain and won't accept you to add a domain until you've got it pointed to their servers using their domains first. So what we're going to do is we're going to place the two name servers for the Teamwork Revolution in there, which is ns1 teamworkrevolution.com and ns2 teamworkrevolution.com. Now typically you will need at least two, but some hosts will come with two or three or four. So what we're going to do is we're going to add those into name server 1 and name server 2, make sure they're different, and double check them and make sure they're correct, and then click the OK button. Now this usually only takes a couple of minutes with GoDaddy, but it could take actually up to a whole day if you use some other domain services. So now what we're going to do is to go back into our cPanel account for the Teamwork Revolution website. Now you should have your login and information and stuff on how to get into the control panel with the introductory email you got when you signed up for the web hosting. So what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down a little bit and we're going to go in and add this domain that we just pointed using the GoDaddy domain manager. So we click on the add-on domains. And what we're going to do is we're going to go back here and we're going to take the domain name that we have here, susansreviews.com. I'm going to copy it, go back to the control panel, and this is where we're going to paste the domain name. We don't put www or anything like that in there. We just put the domain name with the .com, .net, or whatever we're going to do. And then if we click in another space, this will fill in all the information. Now we want to keep an eye on this field here because this is the username we're going to use when we FTP our WordPress templates and stuff up to it in a later step. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick a password. Pick your own passwords. Try to use something encrypted. This is just a test, so I'm going to put in some simple passwords so I'll remember it, and it will ask you to match them up. You have to put them in twice. You add the domain. Takes a second, chugs along. Now as I say, GoDaddy works pretty fast, so we should already be connected or set up over there. The name servers should be pointing, so we should be all set. Give it a second here. It's usually not this slow. There we go. We have it all created, and now we can go back. Now if we want to add more domains, we can, but for this example we've added our domain, and notice down here it should be listed as susansreviews.com. Okay, so now we go back to the home to go back to the control panel. So we've added our domain, pointed it to this web host. Now what we're going to do is to set up a WordPress blog. Now the easiest way to do that is with this program called Fantastico Deluxe. We click on that and it's a nice little set of scripts that will install a whole bunch of different software. Now you don't have to use just WordPress. You can look through all kinds of things. You can set up your own help desk support. You can set up your own classifieds. I have a few accounts that I use classifieds for. You can do directories. There's lots of free scripts, but our focus is going to be on WordPress today. So we click on the WordPress icon or the WordPress link. Now you'll notice that I've already had a couple down here that I've added to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a new installation though for this purpose. We click on the new installation. We find the domain we have listed. We just add Susan's Reviews. Now notice that there's a Susan Reviews for the main domain name, so that Susan's Reviews is a subweb or a subdomain. What we want is the full domain that we just added. We want to be sure we select this. Second part is if we wanted it to go in a subdirectory, for instance, if we had a main site and then we had a blog off of that main site, we could put the directory name in that space. But for our review or our example purposes, we're just going to be using WordPress. So we would just leave that blank. And then we would put the administrator name in there. I almost always use admin, straightforward. Put your password in there. Now you want to do something a little stronger than what I put in there. Put your admin's nickname in there. I always use the nickname, the email of your address usually. If you want all of the emails coming to you, that would normally go to an administrator. The site's name, this is what's going to show up on the title of your blog. Not necessarily the website's name, but the title of the blog. So we would type our names in there, the descriptions. Okay, so those are really the steps right there. Those are all the information we need to set up a WordPress blog. Now, it's important to be sure you double check this email address and stuff, because if you get stuck and you need to reset the admin password, it's going to send to this email address, and if you can't get to it, you'd have to delete your installation and start over. So we click on Install WordPress. We look there, and it's showing us where it's going to be available, susansreviews.com. We finish the installation, and we're done. And we just installed WordPress. We'll click on a new window and double check. susansreviews.com, and there's our WordPress installation, and we are done. Simple as that.